If you're visiting Prince Edward Island, chances are you're planning an Anne of Green Gables itinerary. These are the main sites to hit. The Green Gables Heritage Place is probably the most important location on Prince Edward Island for an Anne tour. The farmhouse once belonged to Ella Montgomery's cousins, the McNeils. She didn't live here herself, but she visited often, and the house, and the land around it, is what inspired her to write Anne of Green Gables. The farmhouse itself has been restored and decorated as if Anne, Marilla, and Matthew actually lived in it. You'll recognize nods to the characters and scenes from the books, like jars where a mouse might have gotten into the pudding sauce, or Anne's puff-sleeved dress in her bedroom upstairs. I actually really love the florally carpets and would totally do this in my own house. There's a one-way path roped off through the house, making the walkway a bit shuffly, especially if there's a lot of people inside. If you can, I would try to time entering the house where you aren't following a big group inside. Outside, there's more to the property than just walking through a cute old house. The grounds are gorgeous. You can wander a couple miles through Lover's Lane or the Haunted Wood, both foresty trails Montgomery herself used to walk. There's daily events like music, dancing, or picnics, but I wasn't around during the right time of day for those. Back at the Visitors Center, there's a small section of informational plaques about Anne Shirley and Ella Montgomery, which I didn't read through because I don't like standing around reading novels on walls. But you can see one of her actual typewriters on display. And of course, there's a whole gift shop to buy all things Anne of Green Gables, including raspberry cordial, which I do not recommend, but I guess you can't not try it. Just down the road is Avonlea Village, a cute outdoor shopping plaza themed after the fictional town. You'll find local chain restaurants where you can grab PEI potatoes, lobster rolls, and a cold beer. I only tried Samuel's Coffee, but it ended up being one of my favorite coffee shops on the whole island. There's an arts and crafts store with fun, locally made items. And the Anne of Green Gables chocolate store hands out free samples of chocolate-covered potato chips and a PEI mix, which is a sweet and salty snack of caramel corn and potato chips. And wouldn't you know it, there's another Anne of Green Gables store here, stocked with the same souvenirs as the last stop. So if you regretted not buying something there, you can get it here. Cavendish Cemetery is the resting place of Lucy Maud Montgomery. She actually died by suicide in Toronto, but her body is buried here. It's a quick, easy stop. Just follow the brick path to her grave, where a flower bed is planted in front of the tombstone. A curious mystery about the gravestone is that her husband's name, Ewan, is listed twice but has two different spellings, and no one seems to really know why. Dalvey by the Sea is the place to stay on Prince Edward Island, whether you're an Anne fan or not. You might recognize this boutique hotel as the White Sands Hotel from Anne of Avonlea and the Road to Avonlea series. Set inside Prince Edward Island National Park, right across from the ocean, this 130-year-old summer home oozes historical charm with its wood-paneled interiors, creaky floors, cozy fireplaces, and those amazingly gaudy floral carpets. I stayed here for 3 nights, and honestly, it was better than some of the medieval castles I've stayed in. The library was my favorite place to sit with my morning coffee and enjoy the crackling of the fire as the morning sunlight came through the windows. The staff were incredibly friendly and made me feel like royalty. Meals could be eaten out on the porch or in the dining room and was some of the best food I ate on the island. Dalvey does book up early for summer, but even if you can't snag a room, at least come by for lunch or dinner. The Ella Montgomery birthplace is where her own story began. This was the home of her parents, though Lucy Maud only lived here until she was about 20 months old, after her mother died from tuberculosis and she went to live with her grandparents. Inside, the rooms are furnished as if her parents still lived here, and you can even see the very room where she was born. One of the highlights is her wedding dress. The gown on display is a handmade exact replica, but the veil is the real thing. And this beaut is a flower made of human hair. I ended up buying the Story Girl here, and they embossed it with a stamp commemorating my visit. The site of Ella Montgomery's Cavendish home is on the property where she grew up with her grandparents. The gift shop doubles as a museum with original pieces like the mantle, some lamps, and the original desk and scales from the Cavendish post office, which used to be in her grandparents' home. Unfortunately, her grandparents' home no longer exists, just the foundation on which it used to sit. There are a few placards around the site with quotes and pictures to help you visualize what it used to be like here. While it's an unassuming site, this is where she wrote Anne of Green Gables, Anne of Avonlea, Kilmeny of the Orchard, The Story Girl, and lots of other short stories and poems. Not to get all sentimental, but walking through the gardens and trees with the fields stretching out around you, you can definitely understand why this spot sparked so much inspiration for her. The Anne of Green Gables Museum was the home of Lucy Maud Montgomery's aunt and uncle, Campbell. Montgomery spent much of her childhood here, and the property is still in the Campbell family today. If you're lucky, you might even meet Pam Campbell, her great cousin. I enjoyed this house much more than the Heritage Museum house because this one has actual artifacts that inspired her stories, kind of like real-life props. There's the items found in the blue chest from The Story Girl, Anne's enchanted bookcase where she talks with Katie, and the dresser from Emily of Blue Moon. You'll find lace and a crazy patchwork quilt made by Montgomery herself. She was also married in this house, and the organ that played for her wedding is still here. And surprise, surprise, there's not one, but two Anne gift shops. A small one inside the house, and a more extensive one in the building next door. The whole property is beautiful, with the ginormous barn, the horse pasture, and the famous lake of shining waters. For a hefty price, you can take the 30-minute Matthews carriage ride around the lake. While it sounds romantic, the reality is you're being pulled behind a noisy tractor, which I think kind of ruins the moment and deters from the serenity of the scenery. The Cavendish post office is kind of a hidden gem. Bring your postcards or buy them here and have your mail stamped with a special Anne of Green Gables postmark only found here. The postal lady was so sweet. She was willing to stamp anything we wanted, including my hand. There's a small free museum attached with some history on Ella Montgomery and some historical artifacts. And finally, at Montgomery Park, you can say hi to Lucy Maud's statue. For more detailed information on these Prince Edward Island Anne of Green Gables locations, as well as a couple of other film locations not shown here, check out the link below.